Hi everyone, my name is Raquel Gomez and my article is titled Best Practices in Working with Linguistically Diverse Families. It is written by Blanca Araujo. Blanca is a teacher education professor in El Paso, Texas. Her article discusses the challenges that teachers face when communicating with linguistically diverse families. With the increasing amount of ELL students in the United States, teachers are facing an issue with effectively communicating with parents, especially in the areas where ELL students are not common. For example, the number of ELL students has increased in the Midwest and the South. The big question is research shows that parental involvement in schools is important to student success. But how can parents be involved if there's a language disconnect? Well, Arahu states that just because there is a language disconnect does not mean parents cannot be supportive. She says teachers need to rethink how to work with linguistically diverse families, and some ways to do this is through incorporating funds of knowledge. Funds of knowledge is defined as the constitute knowledge that is learned at home through students' interactions with other individuals. Students bring knowledge such as mediating household communication with outside institutions, like translating for their parents, and this allows teachers to connect the world of students at home to the school environment. Incorporating funds of knowledge can be done through cooking, family stories, considering the voices, concerns, and ideas of linguistically diverse families. This builds communication between families, students, and teachers, and it is a great way to learn about other cultures. Also, this ties into what we are learning because in class, we have discussed how to communicate with parents who don't speak English, and through funds of knowledge, you can effectively establish a teacher-parent relationship. A strategy to use with funds of knowledge could be the anticipation reaction guide. You can do this in a variety of ways. First, if a student shared about their culture to the class and the parent came in and brought important items or regalia of their culture with them, the students could write some things they are anticipating on learning or answer some teacher-made questions. For example, if they were learning about Chinese New Year, the teacher could have a question saying, "Do you think Chinese New Year is on this date?" Students would mark yes or no. Another question could be, "Do you think this is the year of the monkey?" Then after, students would react based on what they learned, and this builds communication between ELL students to the other students in the class, and parent-teacher relationship through funds of knowledge. Also, hearing and learning about students' culture changes perceptions of teachers to really understand their family dynamic, and this relates to the linear language component of Sedai. Another way to build relationships with linguistically diverse families is through incorporating culturally relevant teaching. Culturally relevant teaching is when teachers don't underestimate the importance of incorporating the lives of the students in the classroom. The article discusses how many students will sit through hours of teacher lectures where the teacher does not take into consideration the language, culture, or experience of the student, especially ELL students. As a result of this style of teaching or lecturing, students are placed in remedial and special education classes because the teacher views them as dumb since they don't understand. Obviously, this is not the case. As we learn in class, the students may have BICS and CALP in their first language and maybe even BICS in English, and it could be easily transferred over with the help of a teacher. As a result, parents also feel inferior because they think, well, if my child doesn't understand the teacher, then how could I? And to avoid this, Arahu suggests teachers should promote native language instruction in their classroom, to be cautious of cultural and ethnic differences and of personal biases. It is important to bring families into the classroom. Students and parents both feel like they have an equal role in the child's education. A really good way to include culturally relevant teaching curriculum is to invite parents into the classroom. Maybe when the student is the student of the week in younger grades or teaching older grades, having a student share about themselves for a week. Their parent can come in and tell a folk story, myth, or fairy tale from their country. The students can write down the English version of the story and the parent could have the version in their native language. This bridges the gap between two languages, and a strategy for this could be to do a four corners activity with it. One corner could be my favorite part of the story was, another corner could be I didn't understand this part of the story, another corner could be I still want to know more about this part of the story. And the last corner could be, I want to share this part of the story with maybe a family member or a friend. And then students would choose a corner they want to go in. The students would discuss and then share out with the class afterwards. And another activity could be to do a people hunt with questions like, find someone who could tell you who the main character of the folktale was, or find someone who could tell you what happened at the beginning of the story, etc. It can go on and on for anything. And it is an easy way for students to recall what they have learned from the folktale and what they learned from their classmates, because their classmates' perceptions are often very different and they can learn from that easily. Oops. Okay. And then in conclusion, it is important to have parent-teacher relationships. It is important to have parent involvement in the classroom. It is important to involve students' backgrounds, cultures in the classroom. It is also important to bridge the gap between English and native language students and of the ELL student and the parent. And it is important to rethink the perception of the students and their culture. And thank you for watching my video, and I really hope you guys download this article because it's really good and it helps just like reshape how we think about culture and how to understand other people's culture and how to integrate that into your classroom and to your lessons, and how to build parent-teacher relationships with a parent who you might have a language disconnect with. Thank you.